What's up, everybody? It's your boy DaLion here with BWSPORTS1, and we are here with another episode of Combat Zone, powered by Carma Coin. Check out the cryptocurrency that gives away to charities and gives you a chance to win supercars. CarmaCoin.co today. Elite Performance 765-499-1005, where the dream of elite fitness becomes a reality. Call Zach today and get started on your journey. Revved Up Tattoos, 317-537-2667. Book your next ink therapy session with our boy Todd over at Revved Up Tattoos. You won't be disappointed. BaumBurgers, that's right, 7960 US 31 South in Indianapolis. Famous for steak burgers, but they are the bomb. BeeLit Organics, our girl Brittany Carreno has got all the natural products, phenomenal feeling, soaps, bath salts, candles, you name it, she's got it. BeeLit Organics. And the Fighter's Friend, that's right, thefightersfriend.com. Give yourself a fighting chance in all recovery products. Check them out, thefightersfriend.com. Use promo code BWSPORTS1 for 20% off your whole order.
Round one, fight.
Welcome back to another edition of Combat Zone. I'm your host, DaLion. The guy down there is Hanowski himself. And that guy right there, folks, is the only fucking stash that you need to know about in bare knuckle. That is the man himself, Tom Shoaff. Tom, what is happening, my brother? How we doing?
Doing wonderfully, man. Doing wonderfully. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So last time we talked to you, it was right after your last fight with, was it Nathan Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about that. You know, we kind of talked about the direction that you would like to see your next fights coming in. So you had a debut fight at 55. We also talked about, kind of going back down to that 55 to stay there to solidify you as a 155 fighter. The past two fights before Mitchell was Julian Lane, Joe Elmore, both at 165.
Julian was at 170.
Okay, even better. Yeah, even better.
Right.
Here we go with the catch weights.
165. Yeah, I know. Now he is currently the number 4 ranked 155-pound bare knuckle fighting championship fighter, going in again to the 155-pound class. Thank you for making the rankings committee a little easier on us.
Right.
Another debuter.
Yeah.
When you got the call, obviously we went through, you got a call. Here's this name, didn't work. Here's this name, didn't work. You finally got one to work. Kind of tell us that whole transition period going from your first name to a second name to now you got a guy that's actually sticking.
I don't think there is much of a transition, man, to be honest with you. I have one goal in mind. I have one task in mind. And that is being the best fighter that I can be, the best version of myself that I can be. That way I can go out there and I can beat whoever is in front of me and I can get that belt strapped around my waist. That's my only goal. That's the only reason I'm in this game. That's the only reason I'm doing this. So as far as the transition from opponent to opponent goes, that's not the opponent, so to speak. I hate to get philosophical here, but I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm trying to be better than me. So it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. My goal is still the same, and my task does not change. The objective is the objective, regardless of opponent.
Maybe I worded it wrong, Tom. Maybe I meant like not so much frustrated, but yes, in a sense, it's like, all right, here I got somebody finally, and it falls off, and then we do it again. It's like, come on, guys. That's as a fighter, I'm sure that's got to be a little frustrating at times.
Yes, I would say the biggest part of the frustration in that is honestly just knowing whether or not I'm going to fight. That's the thing for a fighter and somebody who's trying to further their career and make money and do things with their life. You've got to be active. You've got to be consistent. And I haven't fought. God, I don't even know when I fought Nathan Mitchell. Like, it's been so long since I fought. I don't even remember when the last fight is. I'm going on. I can tell you that I fought Joe Elmore of September 11th of last year, and I've had one fight since then. So I've had one fight in almost a year, or in over a year. April 30th. Okay, so and now we're going into October. So, it's been a long layoff for me. So the biggest frustration that I have when opponents come in and fall off and come in and fall off is just guaranteeing whether or not I get that fight, whether or not I get the opportunity to push myself further up the rankings and get closer to my ultimate goal in that belt. So having to deal with that is obviously frustrating. Because if I don't fight, that timeline gets pushed further back, things like that. But I believe in bare knuckle. I believe in the bare knuckle fighting championships. I believe in their philosophy as far as how they move forward, how they pull people in. And they've proved time and time again that when they tell me I'm on a card, I'm on the card. So it's been pretty, even though there has been some stress involved, it's been pretty easy going on my end, to be honest with you.
Yeah, not necessarily the stress or frustration towards the organization itself. Just kind of a, damn, man, come on, I'm ready to fight. I want to fight. Right. And you guys got falling off, and now you got finally Josh Wright. Looks like he's got a decent MMA record at 5-2 or 5-3, I believe.
Something like that.
What can you tell us about your opponent as far as how you're looking at this one?
Josh is a tricky one, man. So Josh's last win was actually over another guy that I was matched up against. And that was, I want to say, back in like June of this year, maybe.
Correct.
And I think that's been his only fight in like a year or a year and a half. And he really just kind of pops up every now and again. If you try to do any research on the guy or find any footage of him, you can't find anything that's recent. It's all from a long time ago, 6-7 years old. And he predominantly wrestles. There's not a lot of striking to any of his footage. So finding footage on him and developing a game plan and having some sort of guideline as to how I want to approach the Josh Wright problem, I don't really have that right now. So I'm just trying to keep myself as focused as possible on what we had talked about earlier. And look, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. I just need to be the best version of me that I can be and go out there and perform well. I'm excited to fight Josh. I think that he's a tough guy. I think that given what you can find on websites like Tapology and stuff like that, you can see that he's been in tough fights. He's taken some TKOs. He's given some TKOs, so just from that on paper, he looks like a real scrappy guy. I know that I've got the height on him. I'm probably 5-6 inches taller than he is. I've also got the weight on him. I think a lot of his career was spent around 145, 150 pounds. So I think I've got the height. I think I've got the weight. I think I've definitely got the skill. I think it's going to be a good night for Tom. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be a good night for Tom. I just, I need to make sure I don't get caught slipping and be overly confident, because anybody can get caught at any time. So I want to make sure I'm minding my P's and Q's and respecting Josh for the opponent that he is, and just going out there and performing well.
I like it. Now, Mike, didn't you had something that you wanted to kind of toss out to the world here with Tom? Because we all have seen it online. There's a little banter back and forth every once in a while. So, Mike, what do you got for him?
Yeah, I wanted to know what is up with you and Brandon Lambert. I've seen the back and forth, and Brandon wants to get in the ring with you pretty bad, it seems.
Yeah, he's pretty gung-ho about that fight. I guess the best way that I can respond to that question is there's nothing going on between me and Brandon. There's a lot going on between Brandon and himself, and he's getting me involved with it. Brandon has a tendency to call out every person who is getting attention from the organization. Anybody and everybody who is a name or has done something in the organization, Brandon has jumped on that bandwagon and tried to ride that fight into the sunset. Less than a week after he did it with me, he was doing it with Diego Sanchez, and he was trying to get that fight. I respect what he's doing. I understand the idea. Brandon would rather choke on greatness than swallow mediocrity. I understand that. But what I don't think he understands is that he has done nothing for this organization for him to earn the right to choke on greatness. He says that he wants to fight the big names and the baddest names because if he loses, he lost to the best. But it's like, bro, you lost to a debuter coming in. Now, granted, Jared Grant's a tough guy. I'm not going to dispute that in any way, shape, or form. But it's like you literally, in my opinion, just went out there and gave up a round into the fight, 2 rounds into the fight, for whatever reason. Like, you've done nothing for the sport. You've done nothing of glory or clarity or quality to deserve a title with, or I should say a fight with somebody like me or somebody like Diego or whatever. I think he's the definition of somebody who wants likes. He wants the Facebook likes. He wants the clicks. He wants the drama. He wants the bullshit. But as soon as you put his ass to the fire, he's going to freak the fuck out. That's my tangent on Brandon Lambert. I don't really feel like I have to go any further with that. I will say this though. Supposedly he's going to be on weight and in Montana in case something happens with my opponent. And I'm cool with it. Like, hey, bro, if you want to fill in short notice and take that ass whooping, be my guest. Like, I'm going to get paid the same either way. It doesn't bother me. But I think I've got a very similar opinion that every other actual fighter has. And it's like, bro, you're not a fighter. Like, you haven't done anything to earn this. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he definitely wants to. He acts like he wants to be, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't given him a fight.
Let's call a spade a spade. Let's be honest. He's great at marketing.
Yeah, he can market like a motherfucker. But again, it's not like he's a good like trash talk sells. Everybody knows that. People want to click on things that are going to offend them. They want to click on things that are going to cause controversy. And that's all Brandon does. Like, I don't know if you guys were or saw the backstage footage from the Alabama show when he was talking shit to that Washington character and they got punched in his fucking mouth and then waited for everybody to get in front of him and then started running his mouth, talking shit, getting loud, things like that. It's like, dude, this is what you do. Like, you just thrive off chaos and controversy. And if that's what you do, that's fine. And that sells tickets. I fully understand that. That brings attention to the promotion. I fully understand that. But you're not a fucking fighter. Like, and that's what I think the promotion knows. It's like, look, like, you embarrassed us last time we put you in there. Unless you're going to be training your ass off for a good amount of time, we're not going to pull you back. And I know people that I've trained with personally, very good friends of mine that have happened to, that have gone in on their first performance and embarrassed themselves and didn't get pulled back for 15 shows. It happens.
Yeah.
Be better. Just be a better fighter. Plain and simple. Enough with the trash talk. Enough with the bullshit. Anyway.
Well,
get frustrated.
That segment was brought to you by the Fighter's Friend, everybody. So check them out. Give yourself a fighting chance at thefightersfriend.com. Promo code BWSPORTS1 for 20% off your full order. That was great. I had to throw it in there.
I like it. I'm going to stick to my views, non-fighters friend, and we'll go from there.
There you go. So, okay. You've been on, like we talked about last time on the show. We talked about you had kind of a plan intact that you'd like to see going forward in your career. You know, obviously the last fight was a debuter. This time you have another debuter. You do have a fight. Two-part question. I'm not trying to have you or anybody else bash any organization. You don't have to tell us exactly what you're making, this, that, and the other. But in your position, in your career now, does bare knuckle pay you what you would like to see as of now, as still being a relatively newer sport? And B, where do you think you are in that path that you wanted to go on in this fight, your second fight, back at 155 or down to 155 at home at your weight class against the debuter?
I'm going to touch on the latter part of that
Okay.
first, because that's the easier question to answer. As far as my career trajectory and my goal path goes, I feel like everything is on par and it's on path. I had my debut at 55 against the debuter. I won. I did well. I have another fight at 155. Unfortunately, it's against the debuter. But it is what it is. You know, I feel like 155 isn't that big of a division, and they are having a lot of new people coming in, and the only way to test new bodies for potential is to put them against people who have been there before. Is it an advantage on my part because I've been there before? Sure. But you can't find a combat sport in which somebody isn't advantaged because they have experience. Like,
right.
That seems like a silly argument to me. But to get back to the question, I feel like my goal and my career trajectory are on par. I go out there, I fight Josh Wright, I beat him. That puts me at 2-0 at 155. That should slide me up the rankings a little bit, considering I was offered a fight with Adam Pellerano, and he fucking declined because he's a Sally, and decided to 45er instead. What's that?
Tell him like it is.
Yeah, man. No, like I said, so I was supposed to fight Pellerano down in Biloxi, and he didn't want to get beat up in front of his hometown crowd, so he decided to fight John Chalback, who I drove John to the fucking Philadelphia tryouts, and you put in the good word for him and stuff so that he could get pulled on from the tryouts. So like, I believe in John, and you still got beat up. Like, you were gifted that position because you're a local kid, you know. So that should bump me up at least in front of him. And then you got Allers and Bobby Taylor, and Allers, I've always said I'd love to fight Allers, you know, so that would be a great opportunity to move me further up the chain.
What's he gonna do?
Or, I mean, well, you know, I haven't seen Allers do anything but jiu-jitsu since Luis Palomino put hands on him.
Last I seen, he wanted to go to MMA.
Yeah, he was talking about retiring and going somewhere else. So it's like, whatever he wants to do is fine. So I think the only fight that makes sense for me is me against Bobby Taylor for the #1 contender spot, you know. And I go, like I said, I go out there and I win this fight. That puts me at 2-0. Fight Bobby for the #1 contender spot. That's 3-0 at 155. I'm taking that belt home after the next one, you know. So that's, as far as my career and my goal trajectory, it's on par, it's on site. I just got to make sure I'm not fighting once every 9 months, and you know, I'm good to go. To get to this,
sounds like there's going to be a lot more events coming up.
Oh God, I hope so, man. And that leads into the first part of your question, about fighter pay. I'm a professional fighter. I fight to get paid. That's what I do. I can tell you that bare knuckle has paid me more per fight than any other organization that I've worked with. They've been fantastic to me when I'm on the show, when I'm not on the show, when I've got something coming up, and when I don't have something coming up. They have always been very good to me, and their checks always clear. I've never had an issue with the payment in any way, shape, or form. but I will say that I'm happy with my pay now, but as these shows progress and as guys like me continue to build that company and pull in revenue for them, I want a little bit of return off of that, you know?
Yeah.
I've been with BKFC since their first show. I cornered AJ Adams. He was the very first fight at the very first show. I had 2 other training partners that were supposed to be on the show, and I volunteered to fight both of them because neither one of their opponents showed up. I've been with them since day one. I fought on their second card, and I've fought for nobody else since I started with them. I would love some of that loyalty to be returned when their bank accounts start blowing up. I would like my bank account to blow up a little bit too. So that's really where I'm at with the whole pay thing. I get that they are funneling a lot of money into people who already have names because they need notoriety for the sport. I fully understand that. I get how business works. I own it myself. That being said, what's that?
That's your plug time. You got to tell everybody what that business
Alpha
is.
MMA. It's in Lawton, Oklahoma. Come down, do some training. But when you've got guys like me, you know, and AJ and others, you know, Schumacher is another one. John or what's it? Well, I can't mess it. Johnny Bedford, Reggie Barnett, you know, guys like that who have been around since the first show, second show, and been totally loyal to them. I would love to see them being taken care of the same way that the Paige Van Zants and the Chad Mendezes are being taken care of. And once these new shows start to accumulate and that revenue starts to come in a little bit more, I'm sure they're going to do that. I'm absolutely positive they will take care of the people who helped build them up and keep them going through you know, the early stages of their career or of their business or whatever.
Well, yeah, you guys will be the legends of the sport.
Yeah, you know, and that was why I got into it. You know, when I found out about it, it was like, look, like this is what the UFC was 25 years ago. You know,
Right.
It's right there. It's in your face. And everybody talks about the first generation. You know, everybody talks about generation 1 and how it was the glory days and everything else. And it's like, I have an opportunity to be part of that history, you know? And it's been a very short amount of time, and it's been a very fun journey. So I'm looking forward to where it goes and where it takes me from here. But to bring this conversation full circle and wrap it up, I am paid well now. I do appreciate the money that I'm making. But once they start making money, I would love to make more money. That's all I keep going.
100% wholeheartedly agree with you there. So besides your wonderful stash and your awesome upcoming performance at BKFC Fight Night in Billings, Montana, is there any other fights on that card that have your interest?
To be honest with you, man, all of the fights that I've seen promoted for that card look fantastic.
Yeah.
Taylor Starling's coming back against Ekburn, something like that.
Randine.
Yeah, and that's going to be fireworks. I mean, we all saw Taylor in her last performance. She came out like a crazy person. She's fighting a debuter who I'm assuming is going to match that energy. You know, so that should be fun. Christine Ferre's back. You know, and I don't know anything about the girl that she's fighting, but I saw the interview that they did with her, and that girl looks cold-blooded. She reminds me of Helen Peralta, honestly. And Helen's beat up Christine.
Well, we all seen what happened when Helen came in again.
Right, you know, so like that's another one that just has fireworks written all over it. Joe Diesel Riggs and Melvin Gillard both coming off of disqualifications. That's going to be a really interesting one because Melvin looked fantastic in his last fight.
Yes, he
but
did.
Joe is so big. Like, so that's going to be a really difficult dynamic, in my opinion, for Melvin to be able to figure out, because Joe is so big and he's agile, you know, like he's not exactly clumsy or lazy.
Right.
You know, he's a big, strong, athletic dude. So I think that's going to be a really fun fight to watch. Obviously, you've got my fight, and then, well, I'll be honest, I don't know what other fights are on the card. I know there's us four, or those 4 fights.
Then
Those
you have
those
the other one that I'm really familiar with is the Crystal Pittman debut against the debut of Jade Masan Wong.
That's right. Another one of the lady debuters, and they've been talking about that Pittman girl coming in for a while now.
Yeah.
I think I saw her because she's got like that fire red hair, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I saw her in Alabama, and they were doing promotion stuff for her then. So it's nice to have another contender. I think, is that 125? Is that where she's coming in? Is that the same weight class as Britt and Beck and everybody else who's just, you know,
as of right
murdering
now,
people?
yes, there's only the 125 now. Feldman did just earlier yesterday say that guys, hint yesterday, that the 115 pound women's class will be starting in 2022. So it's going to be interesting to see which girls that are in 125 now that easily make that jump down to 115 and take over that division. That's going to send some fireworks up as well.
That's going to be real interesting. Yeah, because there are a lot of. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I said it sounds like there's even a demand for a 135 class too.
Possibly.
I mean, maybe. I honestly don't know much about. I'll be the first person to tell you that I am not much of a fight fan. I don't follow the fighting a whole lot. It's what I do to pay my bills. But so I can't tell you what kind of demand there is for a 35 or for a 15. But what I can tell you is that opening up those weight classes only opens up more options for more people to come in. You can get some of the smaller girls who can't compete at 125 who can come in and compete at 115. Some of the smaller girls at 125 can go down to 115. Some of the girls who have a lot of struggle making 125, like, I'm assuming right now, Beck is a very strong 125. Right. So I would assume it might be a little difficult for her to pull that weight. So maybe 135 might be a better option for her. It's just, and then you get more people coming in. You know, I think the more weight classes you open up slowly, the more opportunity you have for growth. So right. I'm excited.
I agree. Mike, do you have anything else for Mr. Tom Shoaff?
No, I'm good. I'm ready for the second round.
All right. You know what time it is. It's time for that rapid knockout. Got only 3 questions this time instead of 5 for you, Tom.
All right.
But before we get to that, I want to know the last book you read, because I know you like your library is very full. What we got there?
The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. That's what I'm reading right now. I'm about halfway through it. But that's the one that I started most recently. That's
on average. How long does it take you usually to get through a book? A week.
Depends on how interested I am in it, man. To be honest with you, like I started this book probably a month ago, and I'm only about halfway through it. Just because I've been super busy and it gets stale sometimes. It's kind of hard to keep up the momentum. But there are other books that could be, you know, just as big that I would fly through in a month. You know, right. So it just depends on how well it grabs my attention.
Okay. All right. Now it's time for Rapid Knockout. I got everybody wondering, you know, it's been a while. We've had a little layoff. We've been flying and arriving to different places, getting stuff down. So we're back to round 2 of Rapid Knockout. Tom, first question. If you were to put a fighter together on a game, say, and you had the choice of 3 fighters, one for striking, one for grappling, and one for overall athleticism or knowledge of the sport, what 3 fighters are you putting and where?
I'm going to say Nick Diaz for striking.
Yeah.
I assume you're going to take Nick Diaz in this fight this weekend?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice.
I'm gonna go Nick Diaz for striking. I'm gonna go with George St. Pierre for grappling, strictly because of his coaching, not necessarily because of his athletic abilities. And for pure athleticism, I'm gonna go with Phil Davis. I don't know if you've ever seen Phil Davis and just the way that man grooves and like pure athleticism. I'm gonna go Phil Davis. So GSP, Phil Davis, and Nick Diaz.
All right, Hanowski, it's up to you right now. What ranking are you giving that fighter in a game? What's his overall ranking right now? I'm putting Mike on the spot.
Oh, he's in the 90s for sure.
Oh, he saved him. Tom, he saw your look and he's like, "Fuck, I forgot. We're gonna see him in a couple
Hey,
weeks.
Phil Davis through that camera.
Phil Davis just had a big win.
He did.
He did. Yeah.
So that put him up in the 90s there. I didn't think he was going to win that fight.
So we'll say what, Mike? 94, 95, 96? Where
yeah, I'd say about 93, 94.
Okay.
Yeah, I think low 90s is fair. 100%.
I'm just telling you, Tom's going to remember this shit, Mike. If he doesn't, I'm going to make sure after his win and his post-fight interview with you at BW Sports 1 Live, I'm going to say, hey, Tom, remember, this guy said that your fighter that you put together sucked.
Hey, it's hard to get 100, but Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter. So
100%, yeah.
Nick Diaz puts you in the 90s automatically.
I'll give you that. Question number 2.
Cardi.
If you had to, or if you could pick anybody in bare knuckle to be your tag team partner, who would you pick?
Anybody in bare knuckle to be my so we're doing like a tag team bare knuckle fight?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
That's why you come on with us, Tom. You like the shit we do.
Yeah, I'm with that. I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna say size, speed, athleticism, power, technique. You can't beat the juggernaut, Lorenzo Hunt, man. He's that. If I'm gonna have anybody on that roster of against me, I definitely want him next to me, like for sure. Yeah. That's one of those guys that it's like he's got it all, man. He's super athletic, super fast, powerful, technical. Like he's intelligent. Like he's got the package, man. That would be the guy that I'd want to have as my tag team partner.
He seems to be a good teacher too.
Yeah, and that goes a long way, man. Because if you understand the game well enough to be able to instruct somebody, that means that your depth of intelligence and knowledge is pretty deep. So
for sure,
need that.
Very true. All right. Last but not least, question number 3 in rapid knockout round 2. If there was one thing in your life that you could take back, what would that one thing be? The last book you read
in my life. Shit. I'm gonna have to. I don't know, man. I don't feel like.
Even if it was, you're in 8th grade, you had a crush, but
there you go.
You never tried.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one right there.
What was her name?
No, not that. No, I think if I could go back and change one thing, it may sound silly or whatever, cliche, but I probably would have finished high school, man, to be honest with you. I think that's probably the one thing that I look back on with the most regret is that high school was so easy in hindsight. It was so easy. And I was such just an asshole that it's like it frustrates me that I didn't do something as simple as graduate high school and get to walk across that stage and get that. So I think if that's what if I could go back and change anything, it would probably be that. I probably would have graduated high school.
All right. Well, come October 9th, folks, in his post-fight interview with Hanowski, the question will still be asked, what was her name that he never kissed that he wanted to in high school? So we'll get to that then in Billings, Montana. Tom, now is your time. You have the floor. Sponsors, shout outs, family, friends, everybody that you would like to thank and say hi to. Now's your time, brother.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much. First, I want to say thank you to my main sponsor for this fight coming up, and that would be Brad Veal with Advanced Physical Therapy and Wellness down in Lubbock, Texas. He's got an excellent facility down there, and he has been helping me keep my body maintained and refreshed and repaired so that I can continue to work hard and put on shows for all of you wonderful people. Secondly, I would like to plug my gym, Alpha MMA RCBJJ. That's here in Lawton, Oklahoma. Come down, get some training. We got a 6,000 square foot facility, plenty of mat space, a cage, a boxing ring, bags, the whole 9 yards. It's a beautiful time.
Man,
Come down
I
and
can take
hang
a road trip out to Oklahoma.
Come and do it, man. It's time. We got dorms and everything, man. It's beautiful.
Nice. No hotel spins. Yes.
Yeah. And then finally, I would just want to thank, just everybody who pays attention. I like to be humbled in these experiences because I am just a shitty kid from the Midwest who likes to fight people, like in my world, I'm not that great and not that special. But there are people who are big fans of mine who really enjoy me and my personality and what I have to offer and bring to the table. And they tune in to watch, so thank you to those people that are fans of mine. I appreciate it, and I'm humbled by your love and appreciation. That's really all I got, man. I'm just ready to eat my sandwich and hang out before I got to go back to work.
There you go. Well, Tom, we appreciate your time. We love having you on anytime. I ask one favor when we're up in Billings.
Mm-hmm.
I see, the 21st Century John L. Sullivan, the stash. I want to get a really good picture of Tom Shoaff in the pose.
The old school pose?
The old school pose.
I can do that.
Perfect.
We can do it. Too easy. I'm squaring up with you, though.
Me or him?
You.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the rules. If you want the picture, you got to square up.
Good deal. I can do that. I can do that.
All right, perfect.
Right
Tom, I appreciate you again. Thanks, brother. Anytime, you're welcome. Hanowski will be making his appearance more and more as his new man cave is coming in over there at his new place. And we will see everybody October 9th in Billings, Montana. And I can't wait to see the stash in action.
In action, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Action, baby. Tom Shoaff, thanks again for Hanowski. Myself is DaLion. This has been Combat Zone. Until next time, we're out. Peace.